This is the plaintiff, Lauren. She says the defendant, her ex-boyfriend, owes her rent money because he up and moved out in the middle of their lease, leaving her high and dry and unable to afford the place on her own. His name was on the lease. He had no right doing what he did without living up to his financial responsibilities, and she's seeking the $5,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Robert Osman. He says all the plaintiff did was fight, so we told her he was going to move out. The plaintiff's brain doesn't work right, so she moved out too and left her belongings in the place so the landlord kept charging her rent. For 6 months, no one lived there. Now she thinks he's going to foot the bill for her stupidity? Fat chance. He's accused of leaving a girlfriend high and dry.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Lauren, you are suing Robert Osman, your former boyfriend who used to live with you, for half of the rent and additional fees that you paid to the landlord when you broke a lease. What happened?
So we were living there in that apartment for a year, and then we renewed the lease in June, and we ended up breaking up in July. So they ended up charging us a couple of fees that I ended up paying everything in full.
Okay, but so the breakup is in July. What do you do for a living?
I'm the executive assistant to CEO of a cancer center.
How do you find the time to work out those arms?
I don't know.
They're menacing.
Thank you.
Let me just say. That is, I can't take my eyes off them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Wow. Okay. I was hoping she'd say, I'm a trainer. Well, of course she's a trainer, you know.
No.
All right. So you guys break up in July?
Yes.
And when do you move out?
I have a storage unit I rented at the end of June, so I moved out before July. It was the weekend before 4th of July weekend.
Okay. When you're leaving, you know that you've signed, both your names are on the lease. So what was your game plan?
Correct. I left it with her as I'm leaving, whether you stay or you go, and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, but you have a lease.
Right.
So.
Like I told her, I said, whether you're going to stay in the apartment for the remainder of the lease, you know what I mean? No matter what it was, if she said she was staying or leaving, I got my storage unit, took all my daughter's stuff and my stuff out. From that day on, this is the first time I've seen her in person. And we...
Right, but what was your game plan with the landlord?
Was to deal with it as if she took all her stuff out.
What does deal with it mean? Did you ever call the landlord?
I attempted, and they told me I need to discuss the matters with my ex-girlfriend.
Why?
That's a good question. And
right, but if you're willing to pay, why wouldn't they take your money? Your money's not green enough?
No, I didn't say I was willing to pay them at that time.
Exactly. So his game plan was, let's just, wait until the landlord sues us. That was his game plan.
Yep.
All right. Right. And is his credit garbage?
No.
I mean...
I have like a 760 credit score.
Okay, why are you making faces?
Because she wanted to save her
I don't check his credit score, so I mean, I can't say whether or not, but...
But you sound like the kind of guy who might not have good credit, since your attitude is not to get out of the lease and negotiate something. Your attitude is, let them chase me. Whoa, catch me if you can.
That's the exact reason of why I paid everything, because I was worried that something was going to affect my credit in my life, so I paid everything. That's the reason why.
Now let's talk about that. What typically happens is people move out, and then you've reached the contract, and the landlord ends up re-renting it and doing something we call mitigation of damages. They re-rent it to somebody else. This is a big building?
Yeah, it's a big complex.
How many units?
I don't know, a few hundred.
So they re-rent it, and they're not out any money. All they can chase you for is what they're out, any damages and what they're out. They can't make double rent. They can't sue you for the year. But did you speak with the landlord?
I did.
So you're the only one willing to speak with the landlord.
I was the only one that spoke with
He's evil
anybody.
and savvy. He knows what I just said. You're naive and a good person, and you're trying to figure out what you can do to make things right because you're about to break a lease. And then the company told you what?
I tried to ask them if there was any other option than me paying every fee under the sun to move out of an apartment, and they basically told me that this is a legal binding contract. You signed it. You knew the deal if you canceled the lease, and this is what you owe. And there's no. And I cried to them on the phone for weeks, because I didn't want to drop over $10,000. It's actually more than $5,000 that technically he owes me.
Well, tell me how it went. When did you know he was going to move out? When was the fight that led to the conversation?
Well, it was. I honestly think the day was like June 22nd, where we
Okay.
officially.
So you feel that under no circumstances should he get out of paying his half of the rent?
No, because we both renewed the lease. We both were on the lease.
And at a minimum, you would expect 30 days to figure out what you're going to do. So then the company tells you that they're going to charge you 2 months penalty, which would be August, September, correct?
Right.
And then also, aside from that, another month consideration fee. What the heck is that?
They told me that the consideration
Can I see the
fee-
contract that you signed with
Yeah.
them? How long did you guys live together?
Almost 3 years.
You didn't have children together, right?
No.
No.
So when he leaves in July, what's your game plan? Because this agreement is reached with the company in August.
When we tried to cancel the lease so that we'd be effective July 1st. And in the very rare occasion that I was able to speak to him because my phone number was blocked, he had told me,
What was he so mad at?
I don't know.
What were you so mad at?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just how I felt.
I mean, that's just how you roll? It's
No,
3
I
years
just-
that somebody's a part of your life,
no,
and then you
I
block
just-
their number the next day?
Well, yeah, we broke up on quick, bad terms, and I didn't want to talk to her, so I
What
blocked
was
her
so
number.
bad?
Nothing. It was just time, I guess, for us to break up. That's all. But she was around my daughter for 3 years and didn't say goodbye to her and just took off, and doesn't feel bad about that. You know?
I thought you were the one who took off.
Right, but she never reached out to my daughter to try to say anything.
How old's your daughter?
She's going to be 6 in November. So she was there for a good portion of her life and just walked
Well, maybe
out.
the fact that you blocked her number gave her the impression that you would not be amenable to her seeing your daughter.
She could have,
Can she see your daughter?
now, no.
Oh.
No.
No.
Okay, so you reached this deal in August, so July, middle of August. So what are you doing during July?
What happened is that he told me that because we already put in writing that we were canceling the lease, that we don't need to pay July rent. So he was under the impression, so he wasn't paying it.
You don't pay the rent in July either.
Not originally, no.
Okay. Then August 1st comes in, you also don't pay August 1st.
Oh, I paid August 1st because I figured out before August 1st that we owed July. So I paid July in full, plus all the other fees that we owed for not paying. And then I paid August by myself and September by myself.
Okay, so, I asked you earlier, and I want to ask you again, when I'm looking at the agreement that you have with the company, and it purports to have his signature on the bottom of it, is it your testimony that he signed that, or did you sign it to get the deal done?
We both signed the sheet to end the lease. And he had signed one before that one as well.
Okay.
So that agreement to cancel
The one that
lease.
says we'll owe you 10 grand, he agreed to that?
Yes, and we both signed the one prior to that also.
I'm not asking about anything prior to that. I'm asking about the one that's in front of me, which obligates you and him to pay a bunch of money to this company. I'm gonna give you one more chance to come clean. Just tell me the truth.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if two people are together and they move into an apartment together, one signs the lease, are both responsible to the landlord legally?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes, because they're both living together.
They are both living together. What do you say?
I say no.
Why?
Well, legally binding, lease is a contract. One person has it, one person doesn't.
So one person could just say sayonara without any...
Now, morally, they should be both responsible for it.
You agree?
Yeah,
You
legally.
agree with him?
Legally and morally, yeah, I agree with him.
Well, legally and morally are two different things here, according to him. Are they the same thing to you?
No, I think legally.
Because that would have super confused me if you said that, going inside the courtroom.
Did he sign that, or did you sign it for him?
We both signed the sheet.
So he said, this is his signature.
We had no
Hold on.
other.
This is his signature, this one.
To the plaintiff, Your Honor?
Yeah, to the plaintiff.
Yes,
I could show you my signature on another paper. Looks nothing like that. This is dated
Wait,
August
hold on,
13th.
hold on. Go
we
ahead.
both were in agreement to cancel the lease, and
It's not of course, the lease is over, your relationship's over. You want to break the lease. That wasn't my question over and over again to you. My question to you is, did he sign that?
I believe so. Yes, I don't remember me ever signing anything.
Because the
for
guy's a
him.
jerk. He's not going to sign that. I know that man didn't sign that. I know you forged it because you think that guy who wants to agree to nothing, who doesn't care to call the landlord, who doesn't care to get out of anything, you think that guy is going to agree to 10 grand? No, you're the guy who agrees to 10 grand. And then, since they give you the paperwork, you probably just forge his signature because you really don't want your credit ruined. Does that sound more like it, maybe?
I honestly, really, we both signed. I signed so many papers, and so did he, and we both.
Did you sign this?
Nope. It's dated August 13th. I haven't seen her since the end of June. I did not sign that paper. I have other
I didn't date
signatures
any.
here with me that you could see. It looks nothing like my
I
signature.
have. I've already seen your license. I've already seen your other ID. I've looked at your signature on numerous places. I don't believe that that is your signature. I just don't, because there's no way. He's not the kind of guy who would say, yeah, sure, I'll agree to all these terms. He's the kind of guy who says, they'll chase us. That's who he is. Like you said earlier, I was the only one dealing with it, which means you've committed perjury in front of me, which bothers me. Does it bother me as much as you thinking, haven't chased me, and leaving her footing the bill? No. But then what the question becomes, see, if I believed he signed that, he'd be forking over half the money. But if I don't believe he signed that, and I don't, then what I have to do is try to figure out what money should he be paying, what money would be his half of a fair and appropriate disposition.
Which is what I said originally.
What typically happens is that you move out and then they re-rent it, and usually they should be able to re-rent it sooner than 4 months, which is what you ended up agreeing to here. And in fact, if they didn't, a judge would look at them and say, are you kidding me? You know, what efforts did you make to re-rent it? There would have to be like a really special circumstance that would stop them from re-renting it. But if you think that you're going to just walk off and leave her with the bill, you're out of your mind. So number one, you owe half of July. Then how much of the rent should they be able to pin on you when you're leaving? Like, in other words, what would be an appropriate amount of time to allow them to, quote, mitigate their damages? I think 2 months' rent is probably appropriate. The rent was
That's what I was told.
$19.54 a month?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to order, based on what I have read in all of this paperwork, the defendant to pay the following. The rest of July, or his half of the July payment, which of course does have to be paid, including late fees and building legal fees. His half of the 2-month penalty, which I find to be appropriate, because that's pretty much what most judges will give a landlord, especially a big landlord like this with hundreds of apartments. That's pretty much the most that a judge would end up allowing before they expect the landlord to mitigate damages. But I am ordering him then to pay the plaintiff $3,107.50, which represents his part of the big July fee and the 2 months in rent that he should expect to have to pay when he breaks a lease. That's my verdict.
Well, the plaintiff prevails. She gets $3,107. That's what you're going to have to give her. How do you react to that?
I feel like it's fair. The judge made a ruling, and I just want everyone to move on and be happy from this.
Because you kind of just washed your hands of the whole thing when you moved out.
Listen, sometimes in life, that's the way you have to deal with things.
You said you argued all the time. How did that go on all 3 years?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people argue about a lot of things all the time. It's just if you want to deal with it or not.
And you didn't.
After 3 years, I didn't.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now here comes Lauren, the plaintiff. You know, I'm really interested to know how you feel about the judge's decision. She looked at you and said she just simply didn't believe you, and in fact called you a liar for not admitting that you had forged his name on that contract.
It's fine. I just wanted to get back the big amount of money that he owed me.
No, I
because-
know, but I mean, how did you react when the judge said that to you, that she just didn't believe you?
I'm fine.
You don't care?
It's not that I don't care. I just know that we both signed papers and we both agreed to cancel the lease. So
You didn't forge it.
no,
You're flat out saying that.
no.
Well, the judge certainly had that opinion.
Okay.
There's no love lost between you two, obviously.
Zero.
And you're 21. You moved in 3 years ago. You moved in together at a very young age.
It's a mistake.
I think the question is, have you learned anything from this experience in living together?
Definitely.
What?
Don't
Be
do things
careful.
quickly.
Be
Don't make
careful.
silly
All right.
decisions.
Thank you very much. Okay. Harvey?
Okay, look, when you break up, you have got to sit down with the other person and negotiate an exit plan. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.